Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Dare to Care. My name is Masha and this time I talk to Christiana, a veterinarian student from Nigeria who is the chair of the Standing Committee on Animal Welfare of IVSA. IVSA is the International Veterinary Students Association. We will dive into the work of the Standing Committee, the different events they offer for students, but also for everyone who would just like to learn more about animal welfare. But Christiana also tells us about her personal interests and future plans, so I hope you enjoy listening. Welcome to the Dare to Care podcast. I'm really happy that we now made it finally. It took us a bit. We had some issues, but I'm really glad that we now have a bit more time to speak to each other, and I have more time to ask a bunch of questions and get to know more about you as a person, as an individual, but also about your work, especially at IVSA and what you're doing there for animal welfare. So I'm really glad that you are my guest now. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So maybe I haven't mentioned your name, so maybe first introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, which semester maybe you are, and why you're also interested in animal welfare.
Okay. So I think I should first of all appreciate you for giving IVSA this opportunity. I think this podcast is more or less lending us voice, like I say, to create more awareness about IVSA and animal welfare in general. So my name is Christiana Ololade Olajimbiti, and I'm from Nigeria, and I'm in my 6th year. And I'm the chair of the Standing Committee on Animal Welfare for this term, which is part of the IVSA official. And my interest in animal welfare, actually, I would say it started from childhood because it was based on the situation of things around me. Growing up and saying that this part of the world, and I know it's actually applicable to most parts of the world also, animals are usually being treated like they are being treated cruelly because they feel like they don't have emotions, they believe that they can't feel pain, so they are being treated whichever way they'd like. And saying this actually makes me feel sad because I feel like these are also creatures just like us and they deserve to be treated with respect and care and compassion. So with this, I felt like it's always good to lend the voice to the voiceless because they can't speak like us, so definitely they need our voice to speak for them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I really love this phrase that you've just used, like be the voice for the voiceless, because I mean, we apply this phrase for different minorities actually. And I would say animals are not a minority. We have quite a big number of animals on the earth living here with us. But yeah, that's absolutely true. I absolutely agree with you. I think very special for veterinarians to have the chance to speak up for a lot of different species and that we share the planet with. So you are still a student and you are part of IVSA. Maybe you can still explain a little bit what IVSA actually is, and then also you can maybe explain a little bit about what the Standing Committee of Animal Welfare is, how it works, how everything is like working together.
Oh, sure. So IVSA stands for International Veterinary Student Association, and basically we are it's a student-run organization, and we have members, over 30,000 members, and it spans around 70 different countries, which we call member organization at our own end. And what IVSA actually, the main goal of IVSA is actually to improve the standard of veterinary education across the world. So, SCAP is the Standing Committee on Animal Welfare. It's one of the committees in IVSA that it's aimed to achieve this goal of IVSA. Because for us at SCAP, our goal is just to champion initiatives which helps in increasing animal welfare standards. So, increase students' engagement in animal welfare issues globally. So that's basically what we do at SCAP.
Okay, so you mentioned like one of the main aims or goals is to improve awareness, and I would ask you maybe a bit more in detail. Like, what exactly do you mean by raising awareness? Is it raising awareness within like the student community, or like who is the target group?
Basically, our target group is actually our members. But this it's not just limited to our members alone, because all our social media handles are actually also open to the general public as well. And we have tons of followers on different social media that are actually not students. And some of them are not even veterinary students. So it's quite cool having this, like I said, this engagement, because it makes more sense that we are not just being limited to a little number of people. I think that's one of the good aspects of having social media, or like I say technology now, because it tends to reach out to more people than just the traditional way of reaching out, like using flyers and banners and the rest.
Yeah. So you are the chair of this standing committee, so SCAO, for animal welfare. What are your tasks as the chair? Like, what do you do?
So basically my role as the chair is just to organize my team, because for us at standing committee, or will I say at IVSA generally, we have about 9 different committees in network, and this is being organized by the committee coordinator. And for this thing, we have our chair, our committee coordinator in person of Zoo, which is a very nice person. So for standing committee on animal welfare now, my role as the chair is just to organize the team and make sure that we are achieving those goals I mentioned earlier. So at SCORE, we have about, I think, 9 different positions. So I have to like try and organize everybody together. We have the secretary, we have project managers, we have editors, research, we have the research team, we have the social media team, the ambassador managers. I hope I'm not missing out anyone. And external relations manager, yes. So that is the positions we have in this committee. And so the chair is meant to make sure that everyone is functioning well and we are carrying out all our planned, will I say, our targets at the beginning of the term, because at the beginning of each term, we tend to draft out, okay, this is like the plan we have for this year and we would love to achieve this. So the goal is just to make sure that we achieve this by the end of the term, because each term starts in September and ends at August of the next year. So that's basically what it's all about.
Yeah. So you said that it usually starts around like September and October, and then you make a plan for a whole year. So now we're kind of like midway, I would say. So maybe you can tell us a bit about what you have already achieved and what your plans and your ideas are for the rest of the month.
Sure. So at the start of the term, we have some, will I say, some traditional programs. The reason I call them traditional is because it's like a routine kind of program, like our ambassadors program. We have this ambassador program where we have students from different universities. We refer to them as local chapters in IVSA. So they stand like a bridge between the committee and their local chapters. So whenever we have events or we want to carry out tasks, the local level, they help us in carrying this out. So that's like one of the traditional projects we have in SCAO. And also we were able to carry out tons of awareness activity, ranging from really to infographics to having debates on different controversial topics. I think one of the debates we had recently was about lab animal testing. And it was a very quite funny one, because everybody was trying to prove their point and say, yeah, we are right and all. So we had judges who are into veterinary ethics, and it was a very, very lovely debate. And moving forward also, we have had webinars. We had 2 on animal behavior, if I could remember. We also had one on keeping wildlife as pets and the welfare consideration and all. I think we also had one recently with WTS, where we had it was a topic on pain management and hearing the perspective of students, and let's just to know if they actually think that these animals also feel pains, or what are the common misconceptions they have heard about pains in animals and all. So it was, and some of the other things we've done, I think it includes fever. Yeah, they sponsor this animal welfare project, so we open it up to our local chapters also for them to apply. It's just for them to make a project where they carry out animal welfare related tasks or events in their local chapter or in their communities. So it could be about vaccination, it could be on an animal health camp, it could be on nutrient, it could be on basically anything, as long as it is related to animal welfare and has a very reasonable budget. I think that's some of the things we have done so far in the last 6 months in the community.
That's incredible. That's quite a lot. Yeah, and I definitely can imagine that it's quite a task, like quite challenging to like bring people like a team together and to put things into action. But it's really cool that there is like this community on the global level for vet students and to be able to like connect and to exchange, because animal welfare standards are very different in regard to like where you live and where you study. And I found it always really eye-opening to like also get other views, like to be able to speak to others and to realize that where I used to like learn a lot about animal welfare law, etc., is just like a really tiny piece of what you find like in different countries and just like globally. Yeah, so that's really cool that you're doing that. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's like an animal welfare week that you also do like annually. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
So what is this about?
So for the Animal Welfare Week for those teams, it's going to hold in May, and we're currently in the planning phase. And some of the things we plan on doing is having this interview session with an emergency medicine veterinarian, where they tell us about the relationship between animal welfare and first aid, because we feel like empowering our members with knowledge about first aid and how to go about this will also help animals, because there are a lot of countries out there that has stray animals and all, even though there are some laws in some countries that prevent people taking care of stray animals and all, but we still feel like these animals they need to be taken care of. And what best way to do this than letting them have some skills or some knowledge about first aid and its relations to animal welfare. So the other things we plan on doing includes another debate. We are yet to come to a conclusion with a particular topic yet, but I'm seeing it's either coming revolving either around animal use in entertainment, or if neutering is actually ethical or not, because there is a lot of controversies about this, about the overpopulation, or if it's actually helping the animals in terms of animal behavior and other aspects.
As far as I know, there are also, so you have events that are for like the whole community, like for all international students, but then also each chapter, they have also sometimes their own local events that they do. So you have like different levels of events that you offer.
Yes, that's exactly it. Because at the end of the Animal Welfare Week, we actually asked our MOs to submit a report, just a report of what they did during this day or during this week that was specified for this animal welfare celebration, or will I call it celebration now? So we want them to also carry out activities in their local communities or in their environment, or even within the university community. And we also love to know what exactly they did during this period of time. That's why we often ask for reports from our MOs and local chapters.
So I think I would be really interested in getting to know, like, what is your favorite, because animal welfare is such a big topic, right? What is your personal, maybe favorite subtopic? Like, what are you personally really interested into?
When it comes to animal welfare, just like you said, it's a very broad topic. It's a very broad concept because there are lots of animals out there. And I don't know if it's been preferential or being biased right now, but I have this thing for fishes. So,
that's amazing. That's so cool.
It's quite sad to see that there are not a lot of publications out there. There are not a lot of work out there talking about fishes. It's more or less, so there is more on companion animals than on fishes, and even I would say there are even more on other wildlife, and that's just it. And I also like I had this soft spot for them because people are not taking them seriously.
Well, that's so amazing, and I really love it when people like have these extraordinary passions. So yeah, that's so cool to hear. Another thing, because you told us now what you've done already in the past 6 months, there are quite a few success stories, I believe so. Is there one in particular that is like a really favorite memory of yours that you're really proud of what you've already achieved?
That's a very I don't know how to put the question, because so far, I would say that I actually enjoyed planning every one of those events, because at the end of the day, what keeps us moving as a committee is having this positive feedbacks from our members, because most of the webinars or debates and panel discussions we usually carry out, we often ask our participants to fill out a feedback form at the end. And once we see them giving us positive feedbacks, it's usually, like I say, smoothing my soul because so it's just that for me. So I actually enjoyed every one of them because they came with different experience and different, like I said, they gave this different impact. So yeah.
No, that's amazing to hear. I mean, yeah, so I have a very similar experience, I believe so, also with this podcast, because I also sometimes get the question, like, what is your favorite episode? And I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I really like every single one because it's so fascinating to like talk to different people and to realize that there are so many passionate and motivated people out there who really care and who really want to change something for the better. So yeah, I also can't pinpoint like one, like a single one that I would say, well, that's the best. So yeah, I get you. Absolutely. So I mentioned that it helped me to sometimes speak to people outside of my own like student bubble, outside of Germany, and then to realize how different approaches or realities there are in regard to animal welfare. And I was wondering, when you as an international team, where you are the chair of, then organize events like especially webinars because that's easy accessible for like just to like join online. Have you encountered sometimes difficulties or challenges because the interest in certain issues varies between regions or continents?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have this almost all the time because there are lots of region-specific issues out there, and there are some that are actually general. Because when you think about like even country-specific issues, mostly in the some parts of Africa and parts of Asia, we have a lot of issues with stray animals, and rabies is quite common and all. So when you tend to do things that's related to talking about, okay, companion animals, stray animals, people from this region tend to give more interest. And I also noticed that when we are having something that has to do with maybe wildlife, we have more interest from people from the America regions. So it's just like, okay, everybody has this niche that they have already picked. So it's actually based on some of the topics they just follow through based on their regions. Because, like I said, some of the, for instance, when we talk about animal testing, everybody is actually quite interested because it's a general problem out there. Even the developed countries, the developing countries, we all have issues when it comes to animal testing, even though there are some policies out there in most developed countries that is actually helping out things. But it doesn't stop the fact that it's a worldwide, I don't want to use the word pandemic, but it's a worldwide issue. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I found it really fascinating to understand what are like the common issues that everyone agrees on, and that is very easy to understand or to like be aware of it as a veterinarian student and as someone who is going to work in that field, and then also to understand differences, and to realize also maybe where they are coming from. I think one of my last questions would be, you have now still a couple of months ahead, and we have mentioned Animal Welfare Week as one of the things that are coming up. Are there any things planned for the summer, and for how long are you going to be the chair? Is your like term over at the end of this year or like in autumn? And what are your plans afterwards?
As the chair, my term ends in August, and the new chair takes over in September. So we still have some things to do, but I would say that we have achieved most of the big plans we have for this term. But notwithstanding, we still have some programs, but I will not really mention some because we as a team still have to have our meetings and agree on this before we can move forward with it. So I don't want to mention some things and my team will be like, oh, you already concluded on having this. So yeah, we just leave it at that. We still have some things out there for the rest of the term. And when it comes to my my plan afterwards, after leaving this role as the chair? Well, the future is quite uncertain, but we keep moving. And I'll say that I would really love to pursue a postgrad degree in either animal welfare or pathology, because pathology is another great interest of mine. And even in my undergraduate thesis right now, I'm currently working in regards to pathology and not really animal welfare. So it's another interest of mine that I really, really would love to focus on, because there's actually, both pathology and animal welfare can actually be intertwined at some point. Because, for instance, I would say I'm working on heavy metals in fishes. It's really cool if I could get something that will actually mix these together, because I really don't want to leave one for the other.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So we have like one professor also doing pathology in Berlin, and he's quite within Germany, quite famous because he uses pathology to give proof for animal welfare issues, and that's a really interesting approach. I was lucky enough to listen to maybe like 2 or 3 lectures of him, and well, he's really charismatic. So the way he speaks and talks is really, well, you have to listen to his stories. And also when you see those pictures that he takes when he's doing like autopsies and stuff, I mean, we as humans, we work with pictures. Like, it's so much easier for us to understand things and to fully understand what might go wrong or might have gone wrong when we see it with our own eyes. Yeah, I really hope that this is your way, and I'm kind of also curious to maybe like keep up within like the next couple of years and then see where your path is going, because I found this also always very interesting. So I wish you a lot of luck, not only luck, but success as well. And maybe you have still like a few last words that you would kind of tips or hints or advice for veterinarian students, but maybe also young professionals that you would like to give them.
So basically, for the students and also for the veterinarians, I think my last word would be that being a veterinarian is actually a privilege. I've always viewed it as a privilege, because it's not everyone that will be opportune to be the voice of the voiceless. I keep using that word because I love it so much. And we should not forget that we have this ethical responsibility, both to the animals and even to the humans who are their companions, because we have the way we treat these animals during either treatment or the care or the compassion that we give to them at every point actually speaks a whole lot of volume on our personality as well, and also on the profession itself. So I would say that we should try our best to always make sure that our actions does not go against this responsibility. We should embrace this privilege we have with all passion and sincerity.
No, those are some great last words. Thank you very much for that, and I hope that everyone can take something with her or with him. So again, thank you very much for taking your time, and hopefully speak to you soon.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having IVSA on this podcast. I think it's a very nice one for us, because just like I mentioned at the beginning, it's really helping us to raise more awareness about us as an association and our committee in general. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, again, we have come to an end, and I hope you have learned something new or have been inspired by Christiana's stories and her work. If so, please share it with someone you know, and by that, let's make the world together a little wiser. And give us 5 stars and a good review. Like always, you will find a bunch of links in the description. If you have any questions, want to know more, or have any other comments, just get in touch at podcast.daretocare@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at daretocare_podcast. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.